Hey, I'm Kai, and this video is going to be my run through of the new Mooer GE150 Max. Now, since I've already done a lot of demos of the Mooer GE series, I figured I'd do some presets for this one instead of doing the normal review and run through and all of that sort of stuff. If you happen to own the GE150 Max and you'd like to pick up my presets from this video, there is a link to my Ko-fi page in the description box down below, where these will be available for a free download. Before I get into the tones, I do want to mention that each of these presets is able to be configured with two different scenes. They're super straightforward. Essentially, you can assign any of the blocks you like to bypass on the foot switch. Press the foot switch of the preset you're on and it will enter the second scene. I've set these up for pretty much all of the presets in this video. The first tone I have set up today is a pretty classic British metal tone. I wanted to keep this raw and unboosted so that it would retain that classic amp and cabinet feeling. This is literally just the JCM 900 amp running into the 1960 cabinet. I've also set up a second scene with a boost and some effects. As you can see on the preset, we have the flex boost up front, then we're running into the fat phaser, then for the delay we have the analog delay, and for the reverb we're running the cave reverb. For tone 2, I was aiming for a big fuzzy rock sort of tone. Think along the lines of modern alt rock where it's just overly distorted and overgained. This is the grey phase in the distortion section, which is the fuzz phase, and then we're running into the Blues Deluxe amp and the matching cabinet. Unfortunately, most of the fuzz models in this unit don't have that super fuzzy texture to them. They almost sound more distorted at times, but we can make it happen with this. You can't get that super rippy, fuzzy kind of tone out of this unit, but you can get something that will work in a pinch. The second scene I have set up for this one just adds a little bit of tremolo and some delay and reverb. The tremolo is the optical tremolo, for the delay we're using the real delay, and for reverb we have the room reverb. I'm going to switch out guitars for the next one because I need something with single coils. This next one's going to be a little bit more extreme. So I'm using my Balaguer Synthwave Espada for this one because the single coils will give us a nice amount of cut. I'm aiming for a huge, larger-than-life post-rock sort of thing, but unfortunately we can't reorder the effects in the unit, so there are no delays before the amp like I would like. However, with the mix on the wet effects turned up super high, we can get something pretty ambient out of it, so let's hear what we got going on. This is the Rat model running into the Plexi, into the 1960 cabinet, then for delay we're using the ping pong delay, and for reverb we have the cave reverb. We'll also hear this tone with the rotary modulation engaged to give it a little bit of extra width and a bit of movement. Before I get into the rest of the tones, I want to quickly give a plug to my new Discord server. Feel free to come and join, there's a link in the description box down below. You can come and chat about guitars, amps, pedals, bass, all that stuff and more. It's also a spot where myself and other creators will share presets, impulse responses, things like that. Back to the tones now, and you'll notice that I've swapped out guitars yet again. I needed something a little bit lower tuned. This is my Balaguer Custom Woodman. For this tone, I wanted to go for that tight modern metal kind of thing, and I'm going to go for the most generic rig possible. I'm going to go for a tube screamer into a PV5150, into the Mesa 4x12 with a tight noise gate after it. I've also got an EQ on this preset just so that we can shape it a little bit and tweak it more to my liking. I'll start just by showing off what the amp and cab sounds like, and then I'll add all the other stuff in afterwards. I'll now engage the second scene and we'll give a quick patch run through. So this is the 808, then the PV5050 distortion, the Rec 4x12, the noise gate, and then we've also got the custom EQ. It is a little bit scoop sounding, but that was the best I could dial it in with what I had available to me. Lastly, the tone that I have set up, I wouldn't say is a particularly rock or metal tone in and of itself. However, it is an essential part of both of those genres. This is an ambient clean tone and it pops up all of the time in rock and metal, especially in song intros. I love using ambient cleans and the GE150 Max has all of the right effects needed to make it happen. This patch doesn't have two scenes as pretty much everything is already engaged, but we'll dive through the preset quickly. We have the S-Comp compressor, we have the Pure Boost, which is just doing a little bit of tone shaping, then we're running into the US Deluxe amp and the US Deluxe matching cabinet. We've got the EQ just to take off some of the high end. For the modulation, we're using the Tri-Chorus. For the delay, we have the modulated delay, and for the reverb, we have the Church reverb. Building presets on the Mooer GE150 Max was actually super simple. Everything's pretty much locked in place as far as the blocks are concerned, so it all felt really intuitive, easy and fast to use. It has a lot of features that I would consider to be stripped back from other modelers, however that's part of the charm. It's sort of like how the Pod Go is in comparison to the Helix Floor for instance. What it lacks in its versatility it makes up for in the simplicity. One of the biggest advantages of having such a simple device like this is that the lag between changing presets is almost instantaneous. It's also super fast to boot, so if anything were to happen and you needed to reboot, you wouldn't be down for too long at all. There are a couple of nice to haves that I would have liked to have seen in this unit, such as a higher quality cabinet section and the ability to place the pitch block before the amplifier rather than after the amp and cab. For what this unit is though, it works great. Hopefully you enjoyed the tones I dialed in for this one. I kept everything to the complete stock setting, so I didn't use Mooer's amp capturing and I didn't load in any third-party impulse responses, mainly because I wanted to make the presets as compatible as possible. As mentioned, there is a Ko-fi link to these presets in the description box down below if you would like to check them out. I want to give a quick thank you to Mooer for sponsoring this video as they sent me out this unit free of charge. Also, if you haven't yet purchased the GE150 Max for yourself, I would appreciate it if you would do so through my Tom and affiliate links, as this gives me a nice little bit of kickback. That's all for this video though, so until next time, I've been Kai.